The Bock optiTHERM represents the best and efficient modern water heater technology which provides lower operating costs and increased reliability. The optiTHERM achieves this by using a modulating gas burner, Bock's patented helical finned heat exchanger, and a precise microprocessor control. This program is not intended to be used in place of the manual. It is up to you, the technician, to familiarize yourself with the material in the manual as well as all state and local codes regarding installation. The optiTHERM gas water heater is suitable for installation in most commercial applications. 3 models offer capacity sizes of 300, 400, and 500,000 BTUs per hour at high input, which all modulate down to 135,000 BTUs per hour. BTU ratings may need adjustment in high-altitude installations. Bock should be consulted for these applications. If water temperatures higher than the default 120 degrees Fahrenheit are required, an anti-scald device must be installed for all domestic hot water outlets. Scalding can happen within seconds if proper precautions aren't maintained. Many state and local codes now require installation of these devices. The following guidelines can help extend the life of the water heater. First, do not try to heat hard water, as this will drastically reduce heater life. Install a water softener or another scale-reducing water treatment system if hard water conditions exist. Second, be sure power is maintained to the cathodic protection system at all times. If power is to be removed for an extended period, the water heater must be drained. Third, if the temperature and pressure relief valve requires replacement, it must have a BTU rating equal to or greater than the BTU rating of the water heater. Fourth, be sure an appropriate expansion tank is installed to control thermal expansion when needed. And finally, the optiTHERM is a high-efficiency gas water heater and produces condensate which needs to be drained. A supplied condensate trap is installed in the exhaust vent, and an optional condensate trap can be installed in the intake to prevent condensate from collecting in the vent or entering the burner. Once the model is selected, installation of the water heater involves finding a location, selecting the type of vent system, either a power vent system or a power direct vent system, choosing vertical, roof, or horizontal, sidewall vent termination, and making all other connections. When selecting the right location, the optiTHERM water heater can be installed on combustible or non-combustible flooring. Although the water heater can be installed with zero clearance to combustible materials, it is important that proper clearance be maintained for service and maintenance. Intake and exhaust vent pipe and fittings can be made in either 4-inch or 6-inch PVC or CPVC. Do not use unequal vent sizes except to increase from 4-inch to 6-inch piping at the water heater. The location of the water heater should be chosen so as to keep vent lengths and the number of fittings to a minimum. Each fitting has an equivalent straight pipe length. A 90-degree sweep bend elbow is the equivalent of 5 feet of straight pipe, and a 45-degree sweep bend elbow is the equivalent of 2.5 feet of straight pipe. The equivalent intake length cannot exceed equivalent exhaust length. Once the location is decided, the source of combustion air is selected. The water heater can be installed to utilize combustion air from either inside the building, a power vent system with a single exhaust vent, or from outside the building, a power direct vent system with an exhaust vent and an intake vent. Failure to familiarize yourself with the proper installation of the vent and combustion air intake system outlined in the manual can result in unsafe operation of the water heater. A power vent system draws combustion air from inside the building. To do this, the requirements for unconfined space must be met. An unconfined space must have a volume greater than 50 cubic feet per 1,000 BTUs per hour of total combined input of all fuel-burning appliances. Also, any space that has 0.35 air changes or more per hour can be considered unconfined. But with vapor barriers and other tightening of buildings, this condition is becoming less likely. Inadequate air supplies for all gas appliances may lead to dangerous conditions, such as unsafe levels of carbon monoxide and excessive levels of soot. A power direct vent system has an exhaust and an intake pipe. If a space cannot be considered unconfined, a method of directly providing combustion air, such as a power direct vent system, is necessary. The optiTHERM modulating gas water heater can be vented and terminated in the power vent horizontal configuration, the power vent vertical configuration, the direct vent horizontal configuration, and the direct vent vertical configuration. Never connect the exhaust vent to an existing vent or chimney. Refer to the manual for approved methods. All clearances for terminations must comply with local codes. The air intake must never be installed above the exhaust termination, and there must be a minimum of 24 inches between the inlet and exhaust terminations. Support all vent and combustion pipe according to state and local codes. At a minimum, the pipe should be supported every 4 feet. A 4-inch PVC 90-degree standard bend elbow is supplied and must be used as the combustion air intake termination fitting for either a direct vent or power vent system. A supplied low-resistance protective screen to block foreign debris or small animals from entering the vent comes installed in the termination elbow. Although not supplied, an additional low-resistance screen can also be installed in the exhaust termination. During normal operation of the optiTHERM high-efficiency water heater, condensate is produced. The water heater is supplied with a pre-assembled PVC condensate elbow assembly that must be connected to the exhaust pipe prior to the exhaust venting connection. Be sure to correctly orient the condensate elbow and install with an approved high-heat silicone sealant. The condensate drain must slope down 1/8 inch per foot away from the water heater towards the drain. The water heater may need to be elevated to ensure this slope. Prime the condensate trap to prevent flue gases from entering the room. Due to the acidic content of flue gas condensate, some local regulations may require that a neutralizer be installed prior to the drain. A second condensate drain and trap may be installed on the air intake of the direct vent if the vent is vertical or cannot be sloped away from the water heater. This intake drain helps to prevent buildup of condensate during standby periods. The gas supply is attached using appropriate connections conforming to local codes and practices. This usually consists of a main gas shutoff valve, union, T, and sediment trap. The gas supply pressure must be between 6 inches and 14 inches water column. If the gas pressure is greater, a gas regulator must be installed. Check the gas supply piping or check with the supplier if the pressure is too low. AC power is supplied to the unit through a standard power cord. All internal wiring is connected via wiring harnesses. There are no field wiring connections necessary. The wiring diagrams are included in the manual for troubleshooting purposes. All water piping and connections must conform to local codes and ordinances. Do not heat hard water. Test the water supply for the presence of high lime, iron, or other mineral content. If poor water conditions exist, a water softener or another scale-reducing water treatment system should be installed to prevent damage. The water heater must be filled with water before connecting electric power. To prevent internal corrosion, the optiTHERM water heater uses an impressed current cathodic protection system instead of the traditional sacrificial anode rod. This system uses 2 powered electrodes and regulates the protective current based on actual conditions inside the tank. These electrodes are not consumed over time and do not need to be visually inspected or replaced. An LED shows the current status of the system. A green LED indicates proper operation. The LED flashes red when the system is not functioning correctly. If power is to be removed for an extended period, the water heater must be drained. The pipe nipples at the hot outlet connections are factory installed and must not be rotated when connecting fittings in the field. If the orientation is changed, there will be a reduction in water heater performance. Be sure an appropriate expansion tank is installed if the water system is closed. A system is considered closed if it includes a check valve, smart meter, backflow preventer, and/or a pressure-reducing valve. Depending on capacity requirements, the optiTHERM water heater can be installed as a single unit, in a 2-unit configuration, a 3-unit configuration, or as a single unit connected to a storage tank. Before operation, for your own safety and that of your customer, it is important to be familiar with the service and warning label attached to your Bock water heater. Temperature adjustments and system status are available through the control and display. The home screen displays the current status of the water heater. The temperature displayed in the lower right corner is the actual water temperature at the top of the tank. To adjust the water temperature, first allow the water heater to warm up to the factory-adjusted set point and wait until the burner shuts off. Wait 30 seconds and then adjust the set point to a higher temperature. Press M to enter the main menu. Use the down arrow button to move the cursor to Settings and press OK to select. The first screen displays set point temperature. To change the set point, press OK. The temperature will start blinking. Use the up arrow or down arrow to change the set point. Press OK to save the new setting. To exit the menu screen, press the M button. The screen displays hot water demand if the set point was increased enough to start the ignition sequence. The percentage value that is displayed in the lower left corner of the screen is the magnitude of the fan speed. 1% is low input, 100% is high input. Letters indicating the status of the water heater are displayed in the upper left corner of the screen. They indicate when certain components are energized or actions are detected during the heating sequence. F means a flame is present. B indicates the blower is running. I is shown when the igniter is energized. And G means the gas valve is energized. When there is a call for hot water, the following occurs. The blower is energized to pre-purge speed and waits for the normally open air proving switch to close. This switch must close within 60 seconds. When the air proving switch closes and the normally closed blocked vent and blocked intake air switches are closed, the blower begins pre-purge. 5 seconds into pre-purge, the hot surface igniter is energized and warms up for 20 seconds. If the normally open low gas pressure switch is closed, the gas valve is energized. Then the gas valve opens. Trial for ignition begins and the igniter stays energized for an additional 3 seconds. If a flame is established within 5 seconds, the burner is in run condition. The burner remains on and modulates based on sensor value versus temperature set point. Once the call for heat is satisfied, the gas valve de-energizes and closes. The blower will continue to run for a 25-second post-purge, after which the blower is de-energized and the system goes into standby mode. System and troubleshooting information such as fan speeds, flame signal, ignition attempts, and error history is available in the Installer menu on the control display. To access the Installer menu, be sure the display is on the home screen and hold down the OK and M buttons together for 5 seconds. The Installer menu screen will be displayed, followed by the heater status, heater config, and system test submenus. The heater status submenu contains useful real-time information pertaining to fan speeds, flame current, flame failure history, ignition attempt history, and lockout blocking error history. This menu can be used when troubleshooting the water heater. The heater config submenu can be used to set a service reminder. See the manual for more information on using the system test submenu. To access the heater status submenu, select Heater Status and press OK. The first screen in the status menu displays actual fan speed and the low input fan speed in RPM. When the home screen shows 1%, the actual RPM will match the low input RPM. Use the down arrow to display the ignition speed and high speed in RPM. When the home screen shows 100%, the actual RPM will match the high input RPM. Use the down arrow to display the flame menu. When a flame is present, the flame signal will vary based on fan speed, but it will usually range between 5 and 7 microamps. The Failures submenu gives a running total of flame failures. A flame failure is defined as a loss of flame signal after the flame has been proven during a run cycle. Use the down arrow to advance to the history of ignition attempts. A running total of successful and failed attempts is listed. Use the down arrow to advance to the total hours of heating time for the water heater. Using the down arrow, the next screen displays the history of blocking errors. The time interval between errors is given in minutes, hours, days, and weeks as needed. To the right of the word status is the letter E, followed by the number of the error code. The error message is shown below the time interval. Use the down arrow to advance to the final screen displaying lockout errors. The time interval between errors is listed in minutes, hours, days, and weeks as needed. To the right of the word status is the letter A, followed by the number of the error code. The error message is shown below the time interval. Press the M button to exit the status menus. A call for heat can be interrupted in many different ways. In most cases, the control display will help troubleshoot any problem by displaying a lockout or blocking error code. The error code list appears in the manual and on the unit. Lockout errors begin with an A and prevent unit operation until a technician performs a manual reset. Blocking errors begin with an E and also prevent unit operation, but will allow the unit to resume normal operation once the error is cleared. A blocking error can trigger a lockout error if enough blocking errors are recorded. As a general rule, if any pressure switch is out of position, the unit will stay in standby and a blocking error code will be displayed until the error is cleared. If any pressure switch is out of position 3 times, either running or standby within a 10-minute period of time, the control goes to a lockout, requiring a manual reset, and a lockout error code will be displayed. If a flame is not established during a trial for ignition, the gas valve closes and the blower goes to a post-purge for 25 seconds. The blower is de-energized and the unit will make 2 more attempts for a total of 3. If the burner fails to ignite after 3 attempts, the control will go into a lockout that requires a manual reset, and an A01 lockout error code will appear on the display. This could be caused by a dirty or faulty flame rod or a damaged or worn hot surface igniter. Check wiring and connections to the flame rod, hot surface igniter, gas valve, and blower. Refer to the manual for more details. Press the I button on the user interface to reset the lockout error. A flame failure occurs if the flame sensor detects a loss of flame after flame has been proven. If a flame failure is detected, the gas valve is de-energized and closes. The blower goes to post-purge speed for 25 seconds, after which the blower is de-energized. The unit will attempt to reignite and resume normal sequence of operation. If a flame failure occurs 10 times during the same call for heat, a lockout occurs requiring a manual reset, and an A24 lockout error code will be displayed. A blocked vent blocking error is E36, and it occurs when the blocked vent sensor circuit is open. This is caused if the intake or exhaust vent is blocked. The vents should be inspected and cleaned. The blue and yellow wires and connections should be checked. Finally, outdoor conditions such as high wind or room draft could create a high pressure condition in the vent, causing a blocking error. An A36 lockout error code means the water heater detected a blocked vent blocking error 3 times in a 10-minute period. Once the cause is found and corrected, press the I button on the user interface to reset the lockout error. If low gas pressure is detected at startup, an E38 blocking error code is displayed, and the unit stays in standby until the error is cleared. If low gas pressure is detected during a run cycle, the gas valve is de-energized and the blower goes to a post-purge speed for 25 seconds. The blocking error code is displayed and the unit stays in standby until the error is cleared. The cause of this error could be something as simple as a closed main gas valve. Another appliance or appliances could be using gas on the same supply line, dropping the pressure below 6 inches of water column. The switch connections could be loose. Check the black and yellow wires. The gas supply piping may be undersized, or the main gas supply pressure is too low. Check the manual for more details. If a low gas pressure is detected 3 times in a 10-minute period, running or in standby, the control goes into a lockout, requiring a manual reset, and an A38 lockout error code will be displayed. Regular maintenance must be performed at the proper time interval. A chart in the manual provides a list of when certain tasks should be performed. Water piping. All water piping, valves, unions, and joints should be checked for leaks annually. The T&P valve. Every year the T&P valve function should be checked. The cathodic protection system. The module and status LED are mounted on the control panel under the cover. The status LED will be green if the system is functioning properly. The LED will flash red if there is a system error. Flush tank. Open the handhole and visually inspect the inside of the tank for sediment buildup twice a year. Drain and flush the water heater to prevent lime and iron buildup, which can lead to premature tank failure. A commercial descaler may be required. Check combustion system. The combustion system must be checked once each year. The inlet gas pressure must be no lower than 6 inches of water column when running at high input and no higher than 14 inches of water column when the burner is off. At maximum input, the oxygen level should be between 3 and 4.5%. CO should be less than 25 parts per million. Inspect venting system. The vent and combustion air intake system should be checked at least once per year for damage and blockage. To inspect the burner, the intake vent connection, blower, and gas valve must be removed. Turn off gas and disconnect power. Disconnect the igniter and flame rod wiring. Remove the igniter, gasket, and set aside. Remove the flame rod, gasket, and set aside. Disconnect the wiring harness from the gas valve and the blower. Disconnect the air intake vent piping. Remove 4 screws at the gas control flange assembly. Remove 4 nuts and washers at the burner mounting flange. Remove the blower assembly. Take care when removing all gaskets. Inspect for damage and replace if needed. Lift the burner straight up through the burner assembly mounting flange. Inspect the inside of the burner for blockage. The burner is comprised of a perforated stainless steel tube with a woven metal mesh wrapped around the outside. Do not attempt to stick objects into the woven metal for cleaning purposes, as this may damage the burner and reduce performance. If a blockage cannot easily be removed from inside the burner, compressed air may be used to blow out any buildup. The assembly can be reinstalled in reverse order. Reconnect power and gas and check for proper operation. By installing the water heater with care, ensuring a proper water supply, confirming a correct venting installation, and performing regular yearly maintenance, the optiTHERM water heater will provide reliable and efficient hot water operation for many years to come.